Going on, dudes and dudettes? So wanted to get this news done with because I know the Lakers play tonight and Chargers play this weekend, so it's really not going to be much to talk about, so might as well just get all this stuff I have done now because it won't take that long. So I'll get you guys out of your misery real quick. So the USC got a 3-star recruit, another offensive lineman, and the 3-star guy Courtland Ford. And yeah, it's good for USC football. He's another big guy. A lot of these guys that they still have on their recruiting trail so far average like 6'5" to 6'7" and nearly 300 pounds, which is pretty awesome, especially for guys just barely coming out of high school right now. So I understand why they kind of took off those other two guys who really weren't as physical as those two. So I'm kind of happy in this case. So hopefully that just means more swapping out for better, more talented players are coming in the near future, hopefully. Then for Lakers news, Avery Bradley returned, I believe it was a couple of days ago, against the Orlando Magic. It's really cool. I saw him get a couple of highlights there, scoring some plays. So at least he's back to being healthy, and hopefully his defense will step up for the Lakers as well. Then other Lakers news, they let go of their rookie guard, Zach Norvell. They waived him. And then they eventually signed a forward that they had throughout Summer League, Devontae Kaycock, who was pretty good. They were thinking about keeping him, but it's because they already gave out too many of those type of two-way contracts. They weren't able to keep him, but they signed him to that two-way contract so he could go back and forth from their developmental league and the regular NBA team if they need him as well throughout the season. So glad to see that they're still able to get a guy like that back on their team. Then some USC football news. So John Houston Jr., the senior, who's graduating coming up pretty soon, he got invited to the Shrine Bowl as well as Drew Richmond, the offensive tackle I mentioned a couple weeks ago. Once again, I've never heard of the Shrine Bowl. I guess it's pretty new. I only heard of that Recess Senior Bowl. So yes, at least we'll get some more tape on these guys. Hopefully he can show out and be able to get drafted in the coming next draft. Then Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle for USC, who I believe is a junior, so he can return if he wants to, but I don't think he's going to, especially with this mock draft projected him to be a top 10 pick, which is pretty crazy. I know I reported before, weeks or maybe months ago, that he was projected maybe late in the first round. I think it was to the Patriots, but now he's projected to be a top 10 pick, and with that nice bit of money you'll get the next 4 or 5 years, pretty sure he's going to want to go, and that also leaves up another open spot for USC to recruit someone else. So it could be good either way as long as they get a good enough player in his case. And then Marvin Bagley III for the Sacramento Kings out of Duke finally returned back from a thumb injury. I think at first it was like something with his knee, and then his thumb sort of came all of a sudden. He had to get surgery real quick, but he finally returned the other day, which is good. So hopefully, just like the other guy, he could get back into going like Avery Bradley. Then USC's senior wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr., he decided to say that he was going to play in USC's final game this year against Iowa in the Holiday Bowl. Kind of surprised why he wouldn't. He's already a senior. He's not like a very talented underclassman like a junior or a redshirt sophomore who might be picked in the top 10 and you don't want to get injured and all this other stuff. So I don't understand why he wouldn't be playing. It's kind of a weird news story that they had out, but I guess it's somewhat important. That's why I'm saying it, but I expected him to play in any case. But I know the college football awards did happen recently where he was mentioned as a top 3 finalist for the best wide receiver in the nation. He did not win it, but it's always great to see that he got the recognition, and hopefully, like I've been saying for a lot of these guys, they'll be able to get drafted really high as well. Then the Anaheim Ducks, real quick, some news on them. They beat Minnesota 3-2 in a shootout. They took a shootout for the Ducks to finally win, and yeah, it's been pretty sucky for them. I was hoping for a better turnaround, but maybe the first couple games it was just because of the competition why they kept winning, and now they've gotten to the better part of their schedule. That's why they keep losing, but hopefully they get on a win streak. I always feel like I keep saying that every time in these videos. Then for USC basketball, the freshman power forward Onyeka Okongwu, he's been projected recently from Bleacher Report as a top 5 overall pick in next year's NBA draft, which is pretty awesome. Especially kind of interesting that he's going to the Atlanta Hawks that they're projecting him to go, which kind of be weird, him and John Collins, the forwards out there, instead of having a true center, have that working with Trae Young. Could be beneficial for Okongwu, but I think he's a better solo type of player. He could play on any team really, because he's more of a back to the basket kind of guy, but he is very athletic as well, which I like. Then other bit of USC football news, so some recognition for our guys. Drake Jackson, the star defensive end from Corona Centennial out here, he made the freshman All-American team for all of college football, which is amazing. So glad he was able to get that honor, because I told you guys, even though he wasn't a 5-star, highly talented guy, I already knew there was something special about him, and of course he proved me to be right, so I'm happy about that. But then some other USC football recognition, so a couple of guys got some pretty high honors, like Slovis, the quarterback, the freshman, he got Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, which is really cool. He also made the first team All Pac-12, I believe. Then Pittman Jr., the wide receiver, Jay Tufele, the defensive end / defensive tackle, and Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle, they all made first team All Pac-12, which is pretty surprising since USC hasn't had that many guys on the first team for a Pac-12 in a while, so I'm happy to see that. Then also a lot of other guys are mentioned for the second team and reserves, like Teleno Hufunga, a couple guys like that, so I'm happy that they got the recognition as well for our conference. Then that little picture popped up in the Chargers feed the other day where Cam Newton was in a Chargers jersey. Of course, for some reason, all this news keeps coming out that they should make a trade for him, but I don't know who you would trade, because 2 of your top paying people that you would have on your team this year were Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon, the running back, but obviously you weren't going to trade for Cam Newton before the season, so I don't know how the money's going to really work out if you're going to make a trade for a guy like that. It could be interesting. He missed a lot of this season with an injury, has like how he has been the past couple of years, so I don't know if it would actually be a good fit for the Chargers, just some more bad luck for them, so I don't know if they should really do it, but it is very interesting, and maybe he might get Ron Rivera as his head coach too for the Chargers, you never know. Then surprisingly, I didn't see this, but Jerry Tillery, the Chargers' first-round pick out of Notre Dame, was inactive for their last blowout win against Jacksonville, which is kind of weird how all of a sudden him and a couple other guys were left off the list, even though they weren't injured or anything like that. And Chargers decided to roll with less guys than they could have, and it's just another reason why I tell you guys I'm really pissed off that they even wasted a pick on this guy, because he's been a bust so far. People think he's going to have a better year in his second year, but most people, when you go into your second year in anything, it's called a sophomore slump. So he's most likely going to digress even worse, in my opinion, according to most people. So I don't know. I just see a lot of bad things in the future for him, and I would not be surprised if they make a trade this offseason or during the season and they send him out somewhere else for something else better, hopefully. But yes, on to the only highlights I really have in this video. Lakers beat the Magic, I believe it was 96-87. Somewhat of a close game, but Lakers were able to pull it out. And yeah, I'm glad that they're able to. I know LeBron James had a triple-double, another one he's added to his career, which is pretty crazy, especially at his age right now. And then Anthony Davis also had a double-double as well, so good for him. They're able to lead their team. I know people are saying this is an easy team that they should have handled, but last year they sucked against teams like this and they lost this game, so at least they're able to win this one this time and get the W, and hopefully still be first in the Western Conference right now. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. And it's the 13th of December, so happy birthday, Sydney. Hopefully we'll be doing something for you this Saturday. And yeah, Happy birthday, and thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe.